Hey you guys, this is Gabriel with ADS120, and today I would like to be going over prescription drug abuse, specifically categorizing in opiates. One of the coolest photos I found is an original prescription for a heroin substance that people drink to help alleviate coughs. But let's get into the statistics of things. So on drugabuse.gov I was able to find that in 2018 they had single-handedly found out that 128 people died a day from opiate-related overdoses, which was a shocking number considering that not many people would recognize that unless they were directly affected by it. And they had, right below that, had stated that in the 1990s, big pharmaceuticals had told the masses that prescription opiates are non-addictive, you cannot become addicted to them, and you were extremely safe by taking them, which further research down the line proved that that was an extremely wrong answer and that people can easily become addicted to these and now are considered a controlled substance. And with more numbers on here, I have seen that 21 to 29% of people who abused opiates started out using them for chronic pain use, so that they were prescribed for some sort of pain ailment and they started really abusing them. And out of those 21 to 29%, 4 to 6% of them had switched over to heroin, so that either the prices had gotten too high or that their doctor had taken them off the prescription drugs due to the possible legality reasons, and they had to switch to something cheaper that could still alleviate that pain. And they had done another research topic where 80% of heroin users that they studied said that they were abusing opiates before switching to heroin. This is a graph of Q3 of 2016 to Q3 of 2016 to Q3 of 2017, pardon me, in which it categorizes different regions of the United States and the levels of opiate overdoses and deaths. You can see that the predominant areas are the northwest and the western part of the United States, with the northeast towards the end of Q3 of 2017 making a drastic spike. The last two are southeast and southwest, which have little to no comparison to the other three. A theory that was brought up was that most of the areas that have high opiate deaths are from highly populated areas with a lot of doctors being able to prescribe these things in mass droves, while the more rural areas were using methamphetamine and heroin and cheaper alternatives that they could get their hands on. In this, I'm going over symptoms, which shows a comorbidity of opiates and depression. As you can see listed, you're going to see a lot of similar symptoms, food, a lack of appetite or overeating, mood swings, irritability, self-isolation, distancing from friends and family, horrible hygiene routines with no real care towards a person's cleanliness, wearing the same clothes. The ones that really stick out for me that made it kind of differentiate between depressive episodes and opiate addiction was the lack of money and the constant trouble with law that could easily show up as a track record for someone abusing narcotics. Also, changing friends frequently is a very minor one that I would kind of recognize right off the bat. In this, we're going to be going over, if I can remember correctly, this should be the homeless article. Yes, this is the homeless article that was founded by a rehab facility in Southern California, in which out of the 547 people that they had surveyed, 22% had been heavily abusing opiates. While they had done a broader across the U.S. term, they had found that out of the 400,000-ish people they had interviewed, 36% of them had a comorbidity with mental illness and opiates that led them to sleeping in the streets. So this is kind of a slippery slope when it comes to finding out if a person's really just having a depressive episode without the drugs, or could be having a depressive episode and masking them with the drugs, because they are both very similar with symptoms. And if left untreated or maltreated, you could end up having a patient that's sleeping on the streets and has an availability for all the narcotics. With this, we're going to be glancing over our treatments. We all know the two common, methadone and Buprex. Both of these are long-release pills that take the withdrawal symptoms away and creates more of a stable environment for the recovery. But these can still lead to opiate relapses, people overdosing extremely quickly if their methadone isn't working and the dosages aren't correct. Now what they're thinking about is doing MAT, medicinal assisted therapy, where you're still given the methadone or Buprex or whichever drug is on the market to help with opiate cravings, and also giving you CBT therapy and DBT therapy, in which to help kind of curb the psychological aspects of an addiction, and to help move on mood swings and lessen depression, and to help the client better themselves moving towards no use instead of going for abstinence right off the bat. They can start with a harm reduction. So this is my brief presentation on opiate abuse. It's very short, sweet, and simple, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening.